In the last episode, we provided helpful tips to create and enhance the attractiveness of your video. Although, sometimes you might need to create an informative video, and you'll need to include attractive text and graphics. That's why in this episode, we'll be learning on how to professionally incorporate graphics in title. That means we'll work with a program that you've already known from a previous episode, Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's begin. Let's open up Adobe Premiere Pro again. We'll be using the previous video from episode 3 and include different text to complement the visual images. We'll create the hashtag Welcome to Paris and insert it on the upper left corner of the screen to be placed throughout the entire video. Then we'll place the Paris logo on the bottom right at the closing of the video. We'll use the same logo. At this moment, our video will be completely finished. Creation of a layer of text. The first step is to create a layer of text. We select the sequence that we're editing and move the cursor where we want. Then place over the clip showing an aerial view of Paris. The layer will be created in the next video track available. Now we go to the tab, click Graphics, and the upper menu, select New Layer, and click on text. Here it is. Zoom in because the text layer is generated by default with just one frame. We move the cursor to one of the ends and stretch. Editing a text. What we need to know about editing a text. First, we'll change the text. So let's select the layer text and double-click on the playback monitor. Remove the default text and write Paris. Okay, you'll see that the font size and placement doesn't fit the screen. In order to make the adjustments, we make sure that the text layer selected in the sequence is loaded in the original monitor. If this is okay, we click on the tab Effect Control. These are the 3 basic adjustments we can do in a given text: movement, opacity, text. But before we do anything, we have to think, how would I like the text to look? This decision includes choosing font style, size, and positioning the text. Let's go to each of them. Choosing the font style. This is a creative and visual decision that has a direct impact on the video's appeal. This decision will also depend on how we're using the text over the image or in a neutral background, for example, a black or white background. For this example, we'll be doing it over an image, but if you want to use a neutral background, you'll have to consider the color palette so the text can be read and combined. Inside the world of fonts, we have multiple options. With serif, the font with serifs are those who have decorative lines at the end of the characters. Without serif, the font without serif or sans serif don't have decorative lines. Handwriting. The handwriting fonts are also called italicized or script. These are fonts that are designed to match the unique appeal of human writing. Decorative. These are also known as display types, perceived as funny, more casual, but also transmitting a variety of feelings. If we are not convinced with the fonts provided in the program, you can download other options from Google Fonts, one of the best sites to download fonts for free and in no time. And this is what we're going to do. We'll go to Google Font and write Paris in this box to visualize each font and look for the one we like. If we use narrow fonts, it will most likely be difficult to read over an image. This one has relatively thick characters over the image and works fine. We download the font, install it, and we're all set. In the case the font doesn't appear in the program, we close the program and open it again. So that's what we do. We open the project again, click on the text we want to change, go to Effect Control, and select the font. And now we have a font style we like. Composing the text. Clicking in the text box, we place it in the side of the image we prefer. We place it high, low, left, right, even rotate it if we want to. In this case, I will click on the center align text icon so the text is centered to the screen. Integrating text into the image. This step is very important, so the image and text flow naturally throughout the video. During this time, we'll adjust the text so it starts a little bit after the Paris skyline. We'll add a fade so it goes more smoothly. We're also adding an out-of-focus effect called Gaussian blur. We go to Effects, click Video Effects, then Blur and Sharpen, and finally, Gaussian blur. We then select the effect and drag it into the text layer. Then we go into the effects control and minimize the drop-down window effect. We select a point at the beginning and another one at the end. We move the setting to the right in order to fix the initial blurring. For example, at 70%. In the second point, we leave it at 0%. This way, our image will change from a blurred to sharp, making the text appear very stylized. In the parent section, we can introduce a color, stroke, and shadow. For this text, we'll keep it white and will continue throughout the project. One thing we do is to add a shadow in which we can adjust opacity, angle, distance, size, and blur. The shadow will allow us to highlight the text over the image and improve its readability. Copy and pasting layers of text. The text is ready and now we'll duplicate it in the following images, saving all the fonts and positioning. How do we do that? By copying and pasting the layer of text we just made. We'll click on the right button of the mouse and select Copy. We place the point over the image we want selected to go to Edit and Paste. If you want to make edits much faster, click, press Alt, and move a duplicate clip to a new place. The text appears on the right where the point is, with all the adjustments and effects from the previous text. First thing we do now is remove the Gaussian blur effect, as we only want it for the first text in the video. We now go to Effects Control, select Blur Effect, right button, and erase. For this image, you will write Paris is history in the text box, and since it's more than a word, we can use 1 or 2 lines. In this case, we'll be using 2 lines. We'll do the same with the rest of the text we previously copied and pasted. Our texts are inserted and composed. Let's go for the hashtag. We start the same process of text creation. Remember, click Graphics, then New Layer, and finally Text. Now we change the text we wrote. Hashtag Welcome to Paris. In Effects Control, we adjusted its position, its size. We readjusted the position again above the black stripe, so it's shown in the upper left corner. We'll stretch the layer from the beginning until the end of the video as we want the hashtag to appear throughout the entire video. We've already seen how to create text in Premiere, but you have to know these texts can be made in a more attractive way using specific post-production software like Motion or Adobe After Effects. These are obviously much more sophisticated programs that require a lot of time in order to learn them in a more customized way. The good news is that a lot of the sites like Avado offer text templates. For these programs, if you want to use them, you'll need to download Adobe After Effects or Motion into your computer. Otherwise, you can always download a free trial similar to the one we saw with Premiere in a previous episode. If you are motivated to use any template, go to Avado and buy the template you like the most. Price varies between 20 to 40 euros. You download the template, open Adobe After Effects or Motion, and change the text. Don't worry, there is a tutorial video explaining how to customize your text, color changing, when you download the template. Aside from Avado, there are several websites offering this type of content, and we'll learn more about this in episode 10. The logo is a symbol used to recognize a brand, company, or personal identification. In this case, we'll use the image with the Eiffel Tower and the name Paris selected online for educational purposes. I will add the image to the media browser and drag to the timeline and adjust it where we want. Bottom right side of the screen. Look what happens. It's horrible, right? It stands out too much. We'll like something more discreet, like the text without the background, to make it more suitable. But how do we do that? Using Photoshop. We'll make some edits using Photoshop, just like we did using Premiere. We'll download the version, install, and open it. Don't worry, it's just one step, but it can be very useful to add logos in your videos. We open logo in Photoshop, and we remove the background with the magic wand. We select the magic wand, click the black portion of the background, and remove. Since the text is in white, we won't do anything else. We save it in the same folder, but not in PNG, so the background is transparent. We add the file to the media browser in its folder, and we add it into the sequence adjust its position. And that's it. More discreet and integrated into the video, right? In order to finalize the video, we insert the logo and add a zoom effect like we did previously with some images. Now I'm going to teach you how to create a color background. Let's create a layer text, click graphics, then a new layer, and finally rectangle. Let's make it bigger to occupy the entire screen and select the color we like the most. For example, the color blue. We placed it under the timeline and elongated it. Okay, here we have our blue background with the logo. Now we're going to incorporate social media icons. So we're going to download the icons from flaticon.com. On this website, you can search different social media icons by typing in the search engine. You can choose Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, for example, and save it in our folder. Since our Paris logo is white and the social media icons are black, aesthetically speaking, it's not pleasing. We now open every icon in Photoshop and change the color to white. In order to achieve this, click Image and finally Invert. Now our icons are white and we save them in PNG and we place them in the media browser and drag it to the timeline. To reduce the size, use the same method as before and place it in the bottom of the Paris logo. Ready? The Paris video is done. Everything is set. Let's see how it looks. Look what we've achieved with some simple images of Paris. That's the power of editing. Now we're only missing one step, exporting the video. We'll go through that in the next episode.